Hey guys, it's Kate and I am here with a quick greeting card video for you today. So we're going to do a watercolor greeting card. The leaves on the trees outside where I live are just starting to turn for fall, and I went ahead and grabbed a couple today off the tree, and I thought it would be really neat to kind of use them as a stamp to make just a quick fall themed greeting card. Maybe thank you, thinking of you, happy birthday, any sentiment you'd want to put on it. And this is just going to be really quick and easy and fun. I am using my brand new MeiLiang watercolor palette set, and it's giving me a chance to kind of play with it a little bit. So hopefully you'll join me and we will make this together today. So I'm going to start with doing my background, and when I do my leaf stamp I'm going to do it on dry paint. So first I'm going to do a bit of an abstract kind of background wash. I've got my number 10 round, and I'm going to do some nice sort of orangey, yellowy, browny fall colors. I'm going to keep it pretty light on the background because I plan on doing a dark brown color for my leaf. Now I've got my palette moistened. I'm going to give it a couple sprays for good measure. I'm also going to give my greeting card a couple sprays. And by the way, this is 6x9B watercolor paper. I folded it in half and creased it, and you can make your own homemade cards like this too. What you can also do is, if you wanted to use a cardstock background, you can also cut out just the portion where you would put your watercolor and attach it with glue or double-sided tape or anything like that. So whatever you have on hand will work. Just grab your watercolors and brush. I'm going to give this a couple of sprays just to help the paint move. I don't have it secured with anything. I'm just going to keep it really loose. The paper is developing a little bit of a curl, but I'm going to keep most of the paint toward the center area, so it's not going to really matter. It's not going to flow too much toward the edge. I've got my water back off the camera and a blotting paper towel to my right, but I wanted to get close up on this, so some of it's out of frame, so I'm sorry. I'm going to dip into one of my favorites, which is yellow ochre, and I'm going to start going in here. And it's very pigmented, this palette, so I'm going to just sort of spread this around and get it just nice and loose, cloudy, let it fade out. I'm leaving some white in here. I'm going to grab some more water and kind of fade this out up here a bit too. I just want it very loose and just pretty as a background. Got a little bit of a... My cat Scampy, she really likes to spread around. I'm going to grab just a... I'm barely touching the palette. I'm kind of going down in a diagonal motion. Some of this is going to be a little darker and some lighter. So I'm just getting that variation here. And going back in with water. And making it nice and cloudy. And I'm also dipping into my clean water and blotting it and going just around the edges to soften them. I want them really soft. Almost like just a cloud. All right. I'm going to bring in a little bit more warmth in here with some orange, and I'm going to go really light with it. I'm going to grab my little swatch paper that I made with the palette. And I think I like this vermilion, so I'm going to do that. It's over here. And I'm just grabbing a touch. I'm going to also spray my paper again. And I'm just going to put a little bit kind of going through here. And I'm going to blot my brush and let this spread out even more. Maybe have some more of that coming down this way. Yeah. And let's see. Let's go in some of this cad red. I want it to look almost wispy, and I still want some of that white in there. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So I am going to let this dry completely, and then I'm going to come back with my leaf. I'll see you in a minute. All right, I'm back, and we are pretty much all dry. We're definitely dry enough, I think, for the next step. So I am going to set this aside for a moment. It dried really well. You can see the different colors in here, and it came out really just the way I wanted it. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to get my leaf ready. So I'm going to use my mixing well here, and I'm going to use this leaf, and what I'm planning on is arranging it just like this on my card, and I'm going to put my sentiment down here. And so the sentiment I chose is from a stamp that I have, and it says the world is full of amazing things. So I have that set aside and ready to go. I've got my Ranger ink also set to the side so I can be ready when I'm ready to do the sentiment. But for now, I'm going to grab the leaf, and now this is the front side. I'm going to flip it over to the back where you can feel the raised ridges of the veins of the leaves, and I'm going to paint that side. Now I'm trying to get a good balance between wet enough for it to be able to stamp, but I don't want to leave an actual puddle on my paper. I want it to be kind of a clear stamp. So I'm going to go in with a brown, and I'm moistening my palette, and let's see, I'm going to be grabbing the Van Dyke's brown, which is this third one here, I think. Yep, Van Dyke's. And I'm going to start just painting the back of my leaf. And the paint is going to, kind of, bead up a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to be kind of pressing it down. I just want to make sure it's coated. I'm going to do this fairly quickly so that it stays pretty moist. I'm dipping into my water just a little bit more to help this spread. And I just want to make sure to coat everything on the leaf. Just like this. And grab some more paint and just get it good and on there, but not too watery. And this looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do now is grab a spare sheet of watercolor paper. I'm going to move my palette to the side and get my card. I'm just going to kind of have this ready to go here. And I'm going to take my leaf and, trying to be pretty gentle with it, place it real easy where I want it to go. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this paper and put it right down on top of it and give it a good rub and press it in there. And then lift that up. Some of the excess went on here, and I can reuse this for another project. So I'm going to put this aside, and then I'm going to carefully lift up my leaf. And there you have the impression. Now, you'll see on this leaf, the stem kind of comes down like this. I'm just going to go ahead and paint that in. So I'm going to get myself a pretty good point going on my brush here. And I'm going to dip into this really lightly. And I'm just going to kind of swoop it down. Just like that. And I'm going to make it just as loose as it is over here. And that's going to be that. I just need the hint of that stem. I don't need to make it real thick or anything like that. So my leaf is done, and I really love how that turned out. I have enough detail that you know exactly what it is, but it's kind of grungy too, which I really like. And I left myself room for my sentiment. So I'm going to go right in with that next. So I've got my ink pad here. Let me see. And looks good. So I've got it kind of lined up on my grid here where I am going to, let's see, put it right here and line it up. Just like that. And there you have it, a really quick little greeting card, and it's pretty. And I thought the world is full of amazing things is a good sentiment. Now I'm using black ink here, but really if you had a brown ink or any color you had on hand, red probably would do well. Anything that's kind of used in the background with the paint would do well. But I hope you enjoyed this card today, and until next time, keep creating.